Welcome to Crones and Coffee with Lori and Kate, a podcast about spirituality, real, raw, and authentic, and lots of laughs. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Lori.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Do you feel off,
Yes.
confused,
A little.
angry,
Mm-hmm.
stressed?
Yes.
Maybe sometimes electronics are going a little wonky?
Good Lord. Yes.
Screw you, Mercury retrograde. Well, if you answered yes, I sound like an infomercial.
Yeah.
If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may be in need of an energetic cleansing. Dun, dun, dun.
I'll take 10.
Have you ever felt like something just isn't right, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Maybe you've been experiencing a string of bad luck, feeling constantly drained, or noticing a significant increase in arguments and conflicts in your life. These could all be signs that you are surrounded by negative energy. Screw you, Mercury retrograde. Negative energy can manifest itself in various ways, such as feeling physically ill without explanation, having trouble sleeping, experiencing unexplained anxiety or fear. You may also notice a general sense of unease or heaviness in your environment. If you find yourself constantly feeling off balance or overwhelmed, it could be a sign that negative energy is at play. Another common sign of negative energy is a lack of motivation or inspiration. If you once felt passionate and driven, but now struggle to find the energy to pursue your goals, it could be a result of being influenced by undefined forces. It sounds so ominous.
I know.
So pay attention to any sudden shifts in your mood or behavior, as they could be indications that negative energy is affecting you. And I want to point out that you have instincts for a reason. So trust your instincts and listen to your body. If you suspect that you are surrounded by negative energy, take proactive steps to protect yourself. Surround yourself with positivity, practice self-care, and consider cleansing rituals to rid yourself of any lingering energy. Reiki would be a good form of cleansing as well. Remember, you have the power to overcome these crazy energies and create a more harmonious environment for yourself. There is a list of signs that you can look for. I'm just talking through this whole podcast today.
Do it.
So some of the signs that you could be experiencing this negative energy in your environment, and that could be either at your house or at your job. Maybe you notice it more when you're around a certain person. But some of the signs are that you have constant negative thoughts, you have anxiety, you feel loss of control, headaches. There's like many forms of miscommunication between, your coworkers or your significant other. A big sign that there is negative, stagnant energy building up in your home is seeing shadows in your peripheral vision. Stress, electronic malfunctions, your body feels like weighed down, maybe you're having trouble sleeping, nightmares, chronic pain. So let's talk about how we can clear these negative energies out. I think the probably the one that comes to mind first is like a smoke cleanse.
Right. That seems to be the most popular and most iconic, I guess, word you could say for cleansing or smudging.
Right. And for those that don't know what smoke cleansing is or smudging is an indigenous term, and they use white sage, and it's a ceremonial So a lot of people shy away from using that because it is a closed practice. And I'm kind of on the fence about it being closed as far as using the white sage, because my belief system is that Mother Earth put these things on our planet for all to use. With that being said, I really do try to use something other than white sage because I want to be respectful to other cultures. I do have white sage, but I bought it from an indigenous owned company. So when I am purchasing white sage, I try to be mindful of that. When I smoke cleanse, I tend to use rosemary. I love the smell of black sage and I forget what it's called now, peppermint. They're wrapped together.
Yeah.
I have bundles of that wrapped together, and it smells amazing.
Aaron and I were on the East Coast, like up by the oceans, and stumbled across, don't report me, but we stumbled across it. You're right on the edge of the ocean.
I love
well,
how
because
you start with
I
don't report me.
Don't report me because we found a lot of sweetgrass growing.
Oh, nice.
And it looked like we just took some.
Yeah. I'm sure it was so overgrown too.
It was
and
actually
choking out.
Right. I forget what season it was. It was when we were up there for Thanksgiving. It was like unusually warm, and like it was, a very populated area, but it just wasn't height of tourist season.
Right.
So it wasn't a protected spot. Like there's a lot of areas in Cape Cod that are protected that you're not allowed to walk on. And this one wasn't one of those. It was like right in the backyard of our friend's house that we were visiting for Thanksgiving. So I asked permission and we harvested a bunch of sweetgrass and I took it home and dried it. And now I got braids of it in my living room. I should bring you in. I do not do a good job at braiding it. So
yeah.
If people aren't familiar with sweetgrass, it's also a smudging tool. It burns differently.
Yeah, it does.
It burns really fast and it's like a sweet smell to it.
Yeah, and it produces a lot of smoke.
Yeah, you got to be. It's one of those ones you got to be very attentive.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a little messy, but it does leave a really cool vibe.
Yeah,
it's like a very crisp, clean, sweet smell and sweet vibe. So it's one of those ones that I have, but I only pull it up for special occasions.
Yeah.
Because I don't come by it that often. I harvested this myself and braided it myself and dried it in my own home. So I was just going to give it to gifts for friends, not make money off it. Not sell it. I was like, if I took it this way, I just want to give it away.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can, like you're saying, like it doesn't have to be sage. It doesn't have to be Palo Santo is you want to get controversial. That's a big one with the Peru and the sustainability and where it's harvested. So that one's a little touchy, but that also has like an interesting smudge smell. Right.
And again, if you're purchasing those types of sacred botanicals, you want to make sure that you're getting them from places that are harvesting it ethically. So like Palo Santo, if you buy Palo Santo and you light it and you're like, this doesn't smell good or it smells funny, that's a huge sign that it was not ethically sourced. Right. It means that they actually killed a live tree to get that. So the smell that you're looking for is actually from the stuff that is already like on the ground and decaying. Like
dried out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff I don't get it that often. I've gotten like twice in bulk and it's wrapped in a paper that explains the tribe that harvested it.
Yeah.
It was sustained.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sustainably harvested. So like I'm hoping that's true.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like you never know nowadays. But just try and be mindful of that and be respectful of the sacred spirits that go along with those things, and to get off a topic a little bit like we normally do, but going back to the white sage, we've talked about the online pagan community and how it can be gatekeepery.
Yes.
People all the time are screaming about, don't burn the sage, don't take it, Yeah, it's like, okay, if you're that up in arms about that, I hope that you are not burning tobacco, that you are not burning
What do they
cedar,
do?
because there are 5 sacred,
Yes.
plants to indigenous community. So if you're that up in arms about white sage, you better be for the other.
Well, how do they feel about frankincense and myrrh and
Well,
Catholics and
It's like people pick and choose what
Yeah.
they're uptight about.
yeah?
It's like and I think half the time they don't even know why they're uptight. They just see everybody else's and
Sounds
they have
like
to.
they could use a cleansing.
Yeah, exactly.
When I have customers come into my store, they ask, they want to know what it is. So, what is this? And if I want to make them chuckle, I tell them it's hippie Febreze.
That's awesome.
It cleanses the earring.
That's
It's
awesome.
negativity. It's hippie Febreze.
Hippie Febreze. I love that.
Yeah.
We should patent that.
Hippie Febreze. And then another thing I tell them too, if they're a little too intimidated by the magical words, I do let them know that indigenous tribes did use sage to get rid of the insects from their lodgings and teepees. So it did have a quote practical sense as well. It wasn't just a metaphysical sense.
Right,
It was
right.
encouraged to keep the bugs out. And,
Yeah. And what's the other thing that citronella is huge for keeping bugs away too. So you can burn, that too. Dual purpose.
I love the things that Lori made a whole collection of, what are they, loose
incense, yeah.
But they're great. I mean, they all have intention. So one is probably great for cleansing. The other one's probably good for drawing bunnies.
No, not the bunnies.
Bunnies, not the bunnies. Loose incense, money, abundance. There's one that you made though that I love is Moonfire, and it's really fun because it sparks. So you curate these blends. Yeah, they're still available from your shop.
Yep. I have one for it's called Metamorphosis, so it's for transformation, new beginnings. I have one that is for money, energy. I have one that connects with Samhain, or autumn. I have one that connects with the Fae. So I've got different, all kinds of different.
Moonfire is the best. Yes, I love it. I like that it's pink. I like that it sparkles, and I love the smell. I should probably leave with some today.
Well, the pink in it is actually powdered dragon's blood. So
is that what makes it spark?
There's saltpeter in it, which I found out is not that good. So
what do you mean, not good?
Like,
not good for you?
Yeah. So yeah, I might probably not make that ever.
Maybe make me a special batch. I assume all risks.
So I should say, I'll have to look it up because I remember telling someone the ingredients and they got mortified I was using it, and I don't remember why, but I just like it sparkled. Well, okay.
Yeah. You notice it's gunpowder, right?
So speaking of gunpowder,
really gunpowder.
No, speaking of gunpowder, because that's what I thought when I first made these things. Of course, I'm mixing things together and experimenting, and I had this giant chunk of frankincense that no matter how hard I smacked it, it would not break. Wow. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to put this in someone's batch because I felt like it was
really big,
wrong, in some way. Anyways, I said, well, I have a 3-season porch that we have. So I said, I'll just burn it out there while I'm, doing my stuff. It blew up and it shattered across the whole table. And thank God I was sitting out there, but because part of it went on the carpet that was out on the porch.
Yeah, disclaimer, folks, if you sage or do anything with smoke cleansing.
Good grief.
So that's great news. You don't have to use fire.
Right.
You don't have to use smoke. There's several ways you can cleanse that don't involve the smoke detectors.
Exactly. And one of the things you can do that anyone can do is open your windows.
Yeah.
Fresh air.
Oh, I love doing that in my house.
Call on elemental air and say, cleanse my space.
Especially right now before the bugs come.
Yes. Open your shades. Let Mr. Sun shine in brightly in your space. Right. I'm not a singer. Sorry.
A lot of people would cleanse their crystals by putting them out in the moonlight or the sunlight.
Yeah. Same thing. Open those shades. Stop being a hermit. Jared, that's my son. He's Mr. Hermit Boy. He keeps the shades shut all the time. And I'm like, why are you so transparent? You're like see-through. Get some sun, kid, vitamin D. He's like, Mom. He's 30.
So look, I'm going for.
You can raise the vibration in your home or your office if they allow it. Play music.
Right, bells.
Right,
I
bells.
started getting excited about bells and
But put on
tongue pans.
put on your music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just play happy music. Dance. That creates great energy.
Mm-hmm.
Physically clean your home.
Well,
Declutter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, here we go.
Oh my God, declutter. All right, can I just tell you my house?
Well, that's what I did, right? This whole you've been asking me what I've been doing. I'm like, I'm cleansing every room in my house.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it apart, scrubbing it down, and using the essential oil cleaner.
Yes.
So it gives it a nice. So I've been doing that, but now you've done the opposite, right? Tell everybody what happened to you.
Oh my God. So, you know, we've had rain here in New Hampshire. Rain, lots of rain. We had high winds, our power went out. And my daughter-in-law and my son moved back to New Hampshire from Oklahoma, and they've been staying with us, stored all their stuff in my basement. They're living on the finished side of our basement. Until they could find an apartment. Thankfully, they have found an apartment. Nice. They're moving, what's today? April 18th. They're moving April 20th. Oh, wow. And my daughter-in-law texted me frantically, called me. I was in the middle of class. I couldn't answer her right away. It finally was done. I got the message that our basement flooded. All their stuff is stored over there. So I come home, there's 2 inches of water in our basement. When we had a power surge, our sub pump, I guess, died. We didn't know it. She went over there to start packing up her stuff, stepped in 2 inches of water. So now all their stuff is literally all over my house, kitchen, dining room, living room, in front of fans, drying things out. Like, it's like I walk home and I cry.
Yeah.
I love my children and I'm glad they moved back here, but I can't wait for them to move out officially all because then I can do the things that we're talking about today. Open windows, deep clean, get some fresh air, you know, get some of the essential oil cleaners home, going.
You can go,
yeah, because now I'm like, and I go in my bathroom and hide because that's the only room that is not.
I have a very
cluttered.
very adult content word that I call that when I come home and I see stuff like that, because when I come home I want to see my sanctuary as a peaceful place.
Yes, and I'm not seeing that.
Sometimes I come home and Aaron's like, I decided to mop the whole house, and he'll take everything from where it is, put it to the center. Like, it's one of those moments where you're so happy your husband is enthused to clean.
Thank you, but don't do that.
But I walk in and I go, I call it an I.
Yes, yes.
An I, boop.
An I, beep.
Spelled EYEF asterisk 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 asterisk. I said, you're giving me I. So now there's this rule: whenever he feels compelled to do that, he messages me and I stay away until he's done.
Like, please warn me before so I don't come home to that.
Like, I appreciate him. But
of course.
I can't handle it. I can't handle seeing things out of place. I get real anxious when everything's. I didn't know that about myself till I moved in with him. Every time he moved something around, I was like, no. Well, it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be here.
Everything has a place.
Yeah.
And I'm sure my son does not want to hear this or admit it, but his wife is a lot like me.
Yeah.
So we both came home from work, looked at each other, hugged each other, and cried. Because it's just, I mean, the chaos is in every room. It's
almost like a representation of your mind. You feel like you can't control
absolutely.
and organize what you're seeing.
Absolutely.
Therefore, you're out of control and can't organize what's in your own headspace.
Absolutely. And literally, the only room in my house without chaos is my bathroom. But when I tell you, like, because what we've done is, you know, dried off the stuff, repacked it in new boxes, and then brought the boxes upstairs. Yeah. So now I have boxes in my dining room, on my dining room table. in the living room, in the pantry.
It's like forced spring cleaning.
It is. And we are actually renting a dumpster.
I did not consent to this.
Yeah. My husband and I planned on renting a dumpster when the kids moved out because we wanted to purge the basement anyways. But now it's like, okay, this was the universe ensuring that you are going to get rid of stuff that you do not need.
Sometimes it starts sooner than you anticipate.
Yeah, so it'll be all.
What are you going to use to cleanse it when it's all done? Have you thought about what you'd like to use?
So I am going to make. I'm really going to go balls to the wall. Like I am wiping walls. Yep, so I have a wash that
you're going to put what to your walls.
I'm going to what? Balls to the wall. Yeah.
Is that a really visual though? Like, I'm gonna wash all my walls, balls to the wall.
Yeah. No. So I have I make homemade thieves oil. So I'm gonna. So it's got like rosemary and citrus and.
How do you get that name? I've heard of it, but what is the lore behind?
I have no idea.
It's like Florida water.
Yeah, it's similar to that, but
Florida. It's like, no.
There is a story behind it, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is interesting if you want to look it up. But I make my own.
It's called thieves oil.
Thieves, like thief in the night.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got the name off the top of my head.
Is it used for cleansing purposes, or is it something you're just drawn to?
I'm just drawn to it. You can use it to clean. People, I forget the name of the company, actually makes a thieves oil, and it's like an essential oil, and you can use it for cleaning. I think it's doTERRA.
Do you ever use Myers?
I do.
I mean, that'd be a great little. I wish we were getting endorsed by
Myers.
Right. But whenever I go, my go-to all-purpose cleaner now. Whenever my girlfriend,
I love
Rachel,
those.
I never heard of it, and I was over her house one day, and I was like, "What is this cleaner? It has like a nice herbaceous smell." And she's like, "Oh, it's Myers." So you can get it at Market Basket, and they have every once in a while they have like a seasonal one that's rose. Yes. To get that, but they incorporate.
I have geranium now. I actually have some of like the air fresheners, like the sprays in the bathroom here at the studio.
Yeah, they're a good product, and I do like using them to clean because I feel like I'm.
Did you hear that, Myers? I think you should endorse us.
I just think it's a great way to incorporate cleaning with, that kind of a practice. Like some people just like how it smells, but for me, I'm like, no, today I'm going to clean with Myers and get that lavender. Basil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Nice. Oh yeah, I have one called Acorn. It's from autumn. I have one. It's Mums. What's the other one? Pine, lemon,
essentially you can make your
something.
own,
I forget. But
they got a nice blend.
They do. They smell amazing and they clean really well. But I'm gonna make
your own.
My own because I need large amounts of it since I'm doing the entire house. I'm gonna wipe around the door frames.
3 bottles.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do, around the door frames, the windowsills. I'm gonna open all the windows. I try not to burn smoke a lot in my house because my husband cannot stand it and he chokes to death every single time. Yeah. And I try to be mindful of that. If I do burn stuff, I know he's not gonna come home for a while, and just because he's an allergy sufferer, so I try not to aggravate his breathing with my smoke stuff. So I try to be mindful of that. So that brings us physically clean the home, declutter, let stuff go. And my feeling is if you decide to declutter your home and you pull something out and you're like, wow, I haven't seen this in a year, get rid of it.
Right.
That's your sign that you do not need that in your life.
Those rules is like, did I even know this was here?
I didn't know it existed.
Right.
Yeah.
First of all, I come across something sentimental where I'm like, oh my God, I lost this. I'm so glad I found it. But then 80% of the time I'm like, I forgot this existed. I'm going to put it away and it's going to get lost again.
Yeah.
And it's just going to take up space and hold this stagnant energy.
I might need this.
Yeah. It's like stagnant energy. And I'm notorious with clothes. Clothes is where I'm like, oh, do I really need it? Do I want it? Am I just like all the clothes that I had from my teens and 20s? There's like a couple pieces I still have knowing full well I have hips and a curvy body that will never be small enough to get back into it. But there's like this attachment.
There is. Like a memory or something, right? Like I had for the longest time, this is going to date me, a freaking acid wash jean jacket
Yes.
with a Bon Jovi patch on the back.
Girl, living on a prayer. Take my hand.
I'll make it, I swear.
Did you save it?
I didn't.
Oh.
I got rid of it, and it was hard. But I'm like, really, why am I keeping this?
So I reached out to my niece who's 14, going on 15, and I'm like, I'm gonna have her over, and we're gonna do like a dress up day.
Nice.
And I'm gonna give her all those things.
Yeah.
And if she wants it, she can have it. If not, it's going. So that way, I'm at least like, here, take my acid wash Bon Jovi jacket and enjoy.
Exactly.
You know, all my shit's from the 90s, so I have like, you know.
Well, I did pack a whole. I think I had 3 garbage bags full of stuff that, you know, when I'm pulling them off the hanger and it has dust on it, I think that's a sign.
It still has tags.
Right. I think that's a sign. If it's dusty, I haven't worn it in a while.
I'm like, wow, I bought this a long time ago. It still has tags. I've never worn it. Maybe I should just pass it on.
Right. So I gave those bags to my son's girlfriend, who's about the same size as me. And I said, whatever you don't want, give it to Cher.
Yeah. Goodwill.
Or Goodwill. So.
And you would be, you do feel like when all that stuff's gone, it's like, oh, thank God, now there's more room.
More room to get more stuff that I'll never use.
And then there's the other side of it all where you find the things you don't want to stumble upon. You have to like go, you know, like I find things from my divorce and things like that. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
I want to get rid of it. I want to get rid of it.
I know, I've got all that stuff too, but some stuff you can't get rid of, but you need to keep it because
put it in a corner, put some sage, let it, you know.
Why did I need this? Speaking of things that you shouldn't get rid of. Oh, I know what it was. So my husband and I bought our house 8 years ago in Milford. And during the whole process, they're like, we need this paperwork. We need that paperwork. We need, you know, blood from your firstborn son, you know, everything they need when you're purchasing a home. And they actually asked me for my divorce decree.
Oh, because of assets? Does it have to do with assets?
I haven't been with my ex-husband in 24 years.
Right, that's tough.
And I'm like, why do you need that? Like, I was perplexed. No idea where the hell that was.
Right. Why would you? Well, I was just telling you this morning I was running across the same stuff.
But so now going back, we're a week out from buying our house, and they're like, well, we need this before we move forward. And I'm like, you mean to tell me no one over there thought to ask me for this paperwork a week before we're supposed to sign to buy this house? So now I'm like, I have no idea where that is. My kids are all grown.
What'd you end up doing?
So I went to the Manchester where we got married, or where we filed for divorce. I had to go to the courthouse. Well, I called first, and I'm like, is there any way that you can
that
get?
I don't have to go.
Right. No, of course I had to go down there. So I go down there and I talk to the lady, and she's like, oh, that's really far back. We don't have that in our system. We'll have to go get it, which could take a couple of weeks.
We have to get in the time machine.
So I legit start bawling my eyes out in the middle of the Manchester court office. And she's like, well, you know, let's not, you know, get too upset. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be buying a house in a week, and this one piece of paper. No offense, James. That's my ex, because, you know, we're on good terms now. But at the time, I'm like, really? You're still freaking at me after all these years? You know,
brings up all the old
it does. But anyways, we obviously got through it. But there was a woman behind her listening. I could tell she was listening to the conversation. And she's like, I forget the woman's name, but Martha, let's just call her Martha. She said, let me go in the basement and look and see what I can do. And she's like, just, you know, go have a seat. You know, it'll be okay. She was like, so wonderful. Aww. And so I'm sitting in the corner. I'm like frantically texting to my husband now, you know, like, I'm like, you know, and of course my husband's so easygoing. He's like, breathe, calm down, which is making me mad because I'm like, why aren't you more irate? The woman comes upstairs with a piece of paper And she's like, lucky for you, I knew where it was or where it would be. But anyways, long story short, we got the paper, but I still have my divorce. Now I don't want to ever get rid of it. But what they were looking for basically was if I owed him child support or owed him for past transactions, assets or whatever. But, luckily during the time when we got divorced, we had no assets because we were young and dumb and had no property or anything of value other than our children. But at that point, our children were well over 18. Like there was no child support, but there could have been back child support owed. So they needed to know that I didn't have any money going out, so that they could put that money towards. Yeah. So now it's like I have it in the safe, Anyways,
you're just reminding me of because right now I'm the president of Brookwood Land Trust Community, and I acquired all the documents.
Mrs. President. Yes. Can I call you Your Majesty?
Of course. I'll never say no to that. But they're like, okay,
my queen.
They're like, here's your responsibility, and they gave me 2 big safes.
No.
Fireproof safes. And I looked and it goes all the way back to 1970, and it's full of
the year I was born, a good year.
All the minutes from
oh my
year.
God.
And before I even cracked them open, I smudged them. And I took a video of it.
Oh, good call. Yeah, good call.
It's like I feel like I'm opening. Like I don't want to open this in my home and not know.
Right?
What
are you open? Put it back.
One of the most dysfunctional communities I've ever been a part of. Fortunately, things have quieted down. But I was like, this is history. I'm going to crack open.
No kidding.
So light a candle, do a little, play some Sonatum car protection chants.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Thumb through it and. Glad I did, because now they're in my kitchen. I've gone through them, but I can't wait to put them somewhere else because I'm sick of looking at them.
Yeah. But good call.
Yeah.
But I love doing like thrift shopping too, and I always cleanse things I buy.
Bring the creepy dolls.
Oh yeah. Stuff. Oh no dolls. No. Like
little lamps and teacups.
Yeah, like I have some figurines. Like little bowls and stuff here at the studio but they were cleansed outside.
Right.
And those things I do like triple cleansing. Like I'll cleanse with water.
Right.
I will, if it's a bowl or something like that, I'll put dirt in it and I'll smoke.
Oh, I brought beach sand home.
Nice. Nice energy.
Several jars of beach sand that I don't even know why I did it. It was just there, and I'm like, I'm just going to bring some beach sand home, and it's been in my house. I'm like, wow, that'd be really cool to cleanse things and ground things.
Yeah, because with that, you have both energies.
You get the salt.
You have the earth and water because it's beach, So that's great.
The conservationists of Cape Cod are going to come after me now. They're going to be like, where's that sweet grass? Where's that beach sand?
Right, you're taking all their stuff. Bring Cape Cod back to me.
If everybody did that, we would. That's why there's an erosion problem,
Oh, because if everyone took it.
Yeah, they have protected areas. I don't go near those areas. It's like private property of people I know there. So.
Yeah.
Because they have some cool on the beach. You do that's a thing when people go to beaches and things like that. They're so inspired that they want to take the moss home. They want to take the things home, and next thing you know, if everybody does that,
it's gone.
Yeah. So they have protected areas.
So be mindful of that, people.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
Oh God, yeah.
Mindfulness harvesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and they say like if you are like in the woods and harvesting, that you should not ever harvest everything you find.
Oh, correct. Especially with foraging.
Yeah.
Because then you screw yourself later. You're not going to have it to go back to.
Right. And you got to leave stuff for other people and even the animals that depend on those things. All right. So other ways that you can clear out negative energy or heaviness, meditation. That's a great outlet to raise the heaviness within yourself.
So you reminded me, and you might know more about this than I do. I think it's a Reiki practice, but I might be wrong. Polarization. I think it's in the realm of polarization.
Oh, yes.
And like the colors of the rainbow. So it was a technique I was reading about in a chapter, but it was all filled with like all this caution and like I forget what the cautions were, go figure. But they're like, oh, don't do this if that, this or the other. But a great way to cleanse your aura is to visualize the colors of the rainbow going
Yep.
through you one at a time.
Yep. I actually do a meditation,
What
a class that does do
different colors?
it's called, what did I call it? I think I called it Rainbow Cleanse. And it's
Yeah.
basically, I walk you through visualizing colors. And sometimes someone will get a profound reaction to a certain color.
Is that why people are? There's like this caution beforehand.
Yeah, because it can open up old traumas that maybe you haven't dealt with.
So I guess there's an element of purging and cleansing
yeah,
that has to handle that.
So and same with when you're doing like a chakra cleansing. I've had people that had just started bawling on my table because for whatever reason, when I hit this certain chakra, typically that means it's a blockage and it's getting released, and it kind of floods you. And sometimes people don't know what to do with that release. And it's a pretty cleansing experience.
I had that experience with massage therapy a little more.
Yeah. And craniosacral. All those things can release blockages or heaviness within the body, which opens floodgates.
You know, it's a lot of fun if you have the privilege and opportunity to do it, which I found very effective. Is Erin would take me up north a lot, and it's usually like in the spring or summer months when everything's melting up north, and there's all these creeks and rivers, and Erin is just the type of person that'll just be like, let's go in the water, you know. And I get really uncomfortable because it's cold, but I'm also like, do something that makes you uncomfortable. I like doing things like that.
Yeah.
And so I have these awesome memories of being like way up north in New Hampshire and having like hiked this mountain and then just sitting in the rocks and water and just being frigid cold, bone chillingly cold, but like awake and alive, and just visualizing the water pushing through me and pushing everything out and just going down into the earth. And I would feel so energized and refreshed,
like renewed,
that.
Right?
I'd be very, very cold, very prickly, almost in pain because of my arthritis. But then my body response would be to warm up rapidly. And you're just, whoa, you're like energized and you want to go eat a steak or something, you know? And you feel like you could take on. I feel like there's this like viral moment.
Water is very cleansing.
There's been this like viral thing going around with like all the fitness gurus are pitching like these ice baths.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And that's been practiced for ancient times, but it started to rise in popularity with like Joe Rogan and all these other podcast hotheads for the past year or two, where you can buy your own ice bath bucket or something like that. I think you should take a step further and go for a hike, make that the whole experience.
Yes.
And I didn't even have a bathing suit. So I was very self-conscious of my body at the time, but I still went in my underwear. With like there was other people were inspired too. People just started ripping their clothes off.
That's awesome.
It was so high up in the mountains that, you know, nobody's going to come get you, you know, but everybody kept their underwear on. But it was definitely a moment of like every little human body was like, I got to get in there. I got to get in the river.
How cleansing, and to be vulnerable like that, you know, it's like.
No, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Because I don't like how I look without clothes on, but I was like, I don't know these people.
Right.
I'm probably never going to see them again. I guarantee you they're not going to be inspired to take pictures of me. So I'm just going to get my body in there. And that in itself was a little liberating to do as well.
Yeah.
It's like not to care. Aaron's the opposite. Aaron's an exhibitionist. Whenever he can. And this
clothes optional.
It's a couple times now where we've been on Cape Cod and we've realized we were on a nudist beach. The second he knows the clothes are off.
To be so free.
He loves it. He thinks it's the best way to be.
That's awesome. All right. So another way to cleanse is to put salt in corners of each room. After 48 hours, sweep it up, toss it in the garbage, and then remove the trash from the property immediately.
There you go.
So you shouldn't throw the salt outside because A, it's still on your property.
Right.
And B, salt is not good for the local plant life. It can kill it. Yeah. So you don't want to be throwing your salt outside.
What are your thoughts on like flushing it or dissolving it?
I would not flush it because we have a septic.
Yeah, I don't even know
So
how salt reacts
that
to
would probably screw up the natural order of
Mhm.
things that are happening in the septic tank. I don't know the scientific
Me neither.
stuff behind it, but
I
I
don't even have
know
a septic.
but I know you can like mess up the enzymes or the
Yeah.
micro whatever's happening in there.
For all
So
sorts of funky things.
yeah, so I don't want to create some kind of crazy monster thing that
Comes up out of
ends
there.
the world because I threw salt down the
Not just any salt. The salt that's been in your home for 48 hours.
Right,
Who knows
exactly,
what it's
exactly.
picked up.
Yeah, I don't want to be patient zero. Thanks. Again, you can burn incense, candles. You can place crystals like fluorite. You can ring bells, play crystal bowls. When negative energy is cleared, fresh new energy can flow
Right.
through the
I
home.
think that's the nail on the head right there. Another good crystal too is selenite. It's like
Yes,
a neutralizing stone.
Um,
What about those salt lamps too?
oh yeah, those are great. Just make sure that they're real
Right.
because there's a lot of fake ones going
How do
around.
you discern the difference?
So real ones are actually melt.
Yes.
Like so they get melty
Yeah.
and sticky. So I actually have my salt lamp on a plate
Yeah.
because I found out the hard way.
Yes, me too. I put selenite outside one time, or like Himalayan salt. I didn't realize it was. I mean, did with the word salt, I would know better. A Himalayan salt candle holder. I put a tea light and kept out on my deck over the summer, and then eventually it was just start to dissolve.
Yeah. So it gets like wet feeling. I don't know. I can't explain.
Well, it's kind of like sweats.
Yeah. Sweat. That's a good word.
It's sweaty.
I say melty.
The sweaty crystal.
So I have 10 signs that you as a person is vibrating low. So we talked about like what it felt like in the home, right? So signs of low vibrational people. You could have self-pity or guilt. You could be constantly criticizing, blaming, or have bitterness towards others. You're emotionally reactive. Happiness of others makes you angry.
I feel like you're describing me
no.
right now.
She's like, I have 4 of those 10.
I feel like I'm living this right now.
Fear is taking over your life.
Oh, God.
You have constant feelings of despair and depression or desperation. Material items matter most to you. So you have a primarily self-centric view of the world. Jealousy. You have a prominent shadow self. You complain a lot, are argumentative, and are overly cynical.
Good Lord.
Needing and demanding validation from others constantly.
It's just like my hidden bio that nobody gets to see, but I feel like
she's like, I feel called out right now.
I do 100%. I go through things like that full throttle, and then like a month later, you'll see me, and I'll be like, everything's great. Just be full of gratitude, white light, compassion. Like I'm just in it right now. I think it's because of my knee. I'm having an injury problem, and it throws me into a rabbit hole, where I'm just like this vicious cycle of self-loathing and cynical behavior. Well, what do I need to do, Lori?
Lucky for you, I have that answer.
I think I'm gonna go home and take a bath in some salt water, a little beach sand, rub myself in beach sand, meditate. Great news. There's things I can do.
There are things you can do.
And I will. Just coming here today and being with you was helpful.
Yay!
It did.
And that is one of the things you can do is being around other people that vibe high, that don't get sucked into your low vibe. Well, so that's the trick. You got to find someone that isn't going to get sucked in with you. And now you're both.
You called me out as soon as I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to have this surgery. You're like, don't think that. You're not allowed to do that here.
Cancel, clear, universe. The universe is like, hold my beer.
I rebuke you. You literally checked me, though. I
did. So from a scientific and metaphysical perspective, we are beings that are made up of different energy levels. So we have our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Each of these levels has a vibrational frequency all of its own, which combine to create your overall vibration of your being. There are many exercises you can do to turn those low vibes into high vibes. So I'm going to challenge you and our listeners. If you feel like I called you out today with that list, I want you to choose at least 2 of the following to help aid you in raising your vibrations. Because if you do all of them, then you get overwhelmed and you still feel low because you're like, I can't do this.
It's just like a couple options.
It's too much.
Do all of them.
Right. You don't need to do all of them, but try to do a gratitude journal. So find something to appreciate. Beauty is all
fun.
around us.
They are.
But people find them hard.
Well, getting yourself to do it.
But people find them hard because I'm like, what are you grateful for? And they're like, because they think it has to be, excuse me, this big, giant, profound thing. No, be thankful you have toilet paper.
Yes.
Because 4 years ago, nobody freaking had toilet paper because like half the population hoarded it because of COVID. But beauty is all around us. Yet we walk around with blinders on all the time. So stop rushing for a moment and take the time to stand in the sun, breathe in the air, and appreciate your surroundings. Appreciate the bee that you see pollinating the fruit and the vegetables and the flowers because that's helping us exist. Mm-hmm. So be appreciative for the sun warming your face. Be appreciative that you can hear the birds. There are people out there that can't hear.
Well, they don't even live in this country.
Be appreciative that you have a tongue.
Yeah.
Be appreciative that you have clothes, that you have glasses. Mm-hmm. There's people out there that can't see, Be conscious of the food you eat. Food vibrates at different frequencies.
Getting called out again.
So
food addict over here. And I have to say, when I wake up in the morning feeling like crap, it is usually because I binge eat bad food, processed, non-nourishing food that is dead, food that is just created to stimulate that little hothead snack attack I get.
Yep.
And I wake up and I'm like, why do I feel like crap? I feel unmotivated. Well, guess what? All those potato chips.
Blueberries vibrate high. Big Macs do not. So pay attention to your food choices. Drink water.
That I do.
Filtering your body is a great way to flush out toxicity.
You can do it.
Toxicity, whatever.
Now I'm scared to say it. Toxicity.
Thank you.
I gotta say it like city.
I think something is wrong with me, okay? Because there are just certain words my mouth will not form. No matter how hard I try. I had a whole meditation script. I had one word in there. I still can't say it. Let me try. Sovereignty.
Yes.
Did I say it?
You did it.
Okay. So that whole meditation script I was trying to record for YouTube meditation. I actually made my husband read the entire script because I could not say that one stupid word.
Please tell me you made a blooper reel.
I didn't. I have a blooper reel of when I was saying, hi, I'm Lori from the Eclectic Green Witchery. I couldn't say it for the life of me.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it.
Have I seen that? I think I've
probably. It's pretty funny. But anywho, meditation. Meditation helps calm the spirit down. We offer meditation classes here at Mystic Market. Practice acts of kindness.
I was going to say, when you were talking about being grateful, it's also like, sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll just go out of my way. And sometimes it'll be people I don't know. I'll go online, and find an artist that I like and just take a moment to comment something very specific about their art that they like. So, it's like something that they probably wouldn't hear. Or
right.
Someone taking the time to, like I follow a lot of musicians now and I'm trying to gain traction online, and it's probably what's bringing me down. You compare yourself to other people,
Oh yeah.
And every once in a while you get someone who actually listened to your song and actually looked at your post and spent time looking at it and comments what they like about it, and just it's like, oh, I guess I'll go another day.
Yeah.
And then so if I do that for other people, you know, I hope people would do it for me.
And acts of kindness is different from acts of niceness.
Oh, okay. Explain.
So niceness is you opened the door for somebody, you held it open for them.
Mm-hmm.
They walked right past you, didn't acknowledge your act of niceness,
Okay.
and you got mad.
Nope. Oh, nope. Can't do that.
Because when you're nice, you're doing it to please yourself. Acts of kindness is you open that door, someone walked in, didn't acknowledge you, you still went about your day and you're, yep. So there's a difference.
It's like when you donate money to things and things like that, you know, sometimes you don't. I've had several times where I've donated and I don't get like thank yous or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's not why I did it.
Right.
That's not why I did it.
So acts of kindness is doing it just because and not expecting anything in return, which is basically, you know, giving. When you're practicing acts of kindness, this helps shift our thoughts. Giving to someone else without expecting anything in return shifts our thoughts from woe is me to I have more than enough to give to others. Right. Abundance is a high vibrational energy. Exercise.
Hey, getting called out again.
Vibrations require movement. Yeah. So put on some music and dance it out.
That's a big one I need to do.
So take two of those. Take two of those. You got your gratitude journal. Be conscious of the food you eat. Drink water. Meditate. Practice acts of kindness. Exercise. So you've got 5 different things that you can help to raise those vibrations.
And you can play the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Vibrations. Sensations. Something.
Don't listen to Kate and Lori sing it. Listen to the actual Beach
Boys. So I'm gonna.
You know what's another great thing too is sunbathing. You know.
Oh yeah.
Responsibly. You want to make sure you have sunblock on, but it's not about laying in the sun.
Absolutely.
For like 15-20 minutes.
Very energizing.
Yeah.
But so, you know, those are the things. And a big one too is surround yourself with people that you know vibrate high naturally. Because that's one thing a lot of people that come here to Mystic Market say about me. When they walk in here, they're like, man, I was in such a crappy mood. And after talking to you, I feel so much better. And that really validates me, because all the things that I am doing for myself is actually working and it's radiating onto other people. So, you know, I tell people, shine so bright, you're blinding. Right. But and I'm not saying I'm always vibrating high. I'm not, especially now because of the house situation, but I know that there is a end to that very soon. But if you can vibrate so high that you're pulling people up to you, now that person has the ability to do the same to someone else. So imagine that ripple happening. Like imagine the world that we can have if we have people that are building others up. I think I just posted about the heck is her name? Courtney Love was like slamming Taylor Swift.
And Beyonce.
And
she was going full throttle.
I'm like, no, stop doing that, women. Stop slamming each other down and start picking each other up. For the love of God, stop it. Please. Raise one another up. Like, why is this so difficult? Why do women especially feel the need to just cut others down? I saw an interview with Pink, and one of the questions was like, well, what do you think of, I forget who she was talking about now. And Pink was like, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
Oh, it was about Madonna's face.
Oh, geez.
Like, really? Let the woman age, okay? If she got work done, who cares? It's not your face. Yeah. But Pink stopped that interviewer. She was like, no, we're not doing that. Stop pitting women against each other. Right. I just released an album and I'm proud of that. That's what I want to talk about.
I saw something similar with Lady Gaga years ago when she was up and coming, and they tried to get her to talk crap about Britney Spears. Like, oh, if you could give, and it was when Britney Spears was really sinking. It was the peak of her, just shaved her head and was I felt awful.
She's a troubled girl.
I felt awful for her when that was happening. Same with Amy Winehouse. and Lady Gaga was being lured into some kind of conversation to, talk smack. And she just said, I don't, they were talking about her dancing. And she's like, I don't need to tell Britney Spears how to dance. She doesn't need tips from me. Like giving her props and turning it around, which I found refreshing. That was several years ago. But
Yeah. But, it's so sad because, like, when you're pitting people against each other too, that's a low vibrational action.
There's really not much you're going to get out of it.
No. So I think, as, and I look at myself as being a spiritual leader,
Yeah.
A guide, if I can be so bold to use that word, a teacher, mentor, pick a word. So I feel like I don't want to use the word power, but influence.
Privilege. That's a fun word everyone's using.
No, I hate that word.
Me too.
I feel like I have the ability to help people see a better way. So,
you're the lantern.
Yeah, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm human. I have my days where I text Kate and I'm like, I just need to swear a lot right now.
2 middle fingers in the air.
You don't need to respond. I just need to have diarrhea of the mouth right now. And she says, "Kay, go."
Got my tea, got my joint ready.
And then I have my diarrhea of the mouth, and then I'm like, all right, so when's the next podcast? Because sometimes you just need to get it out, but that's where you find your people. She never judges me. She, kicks me back into play, or she sympathizes and she gives me what I need at that moment. Those are the people that you need to align yourself with.
And then the memes come. Then we just send each
other
memes.
Yeah, and then we laugh, and then I'm like, why was I mad? Like, I forget, So, but you got to find your people that can do that for you, to keep you in check, to keep your vibe high, so that you can shine your light and help others along the way. Line the world with your sparkles.
Sometimes it's not as awful as we perceive it to be, that the internet and the media tells us it is. You gotta shine bright so the rest of the world can see it.
Yeah.
And it's hard right now. There's a lot of, it's 2024. We're coming up on election year, which means everything, no matter what side you're on, everything's intense. Everything is exaggerated. Everything feels like doom, gloom, out of control.
It does. It's like people are arguing about rocks. Like, here's a picture of a stick. It's like people are arguing about a stick. Like just pull it back, people. Come on, it's and I think a lot of it has to do with people are underpaid, overworked, and we're not meant to live that way. I mean, we live this one
more communal style living.
Yeah, we live this one life, and it's like half the people on the planet are working 3 jobs, still can't make ends meet. They can't even have a basic home that's under $2,000. It's awful. So I know it's difficult to vibrate high, but if we can try and be better than we were the day before,
the little things sometimes
it is, they add up. And you might have these thoughts like, well, I'm one person, what's that going to do? But if you're one person and you change someone else's view, and I don't mean view about politics or anything like that. I'm just saying how they feel about themselves. If they can vibrate higher, there's a chance that they're going to make someone else vibrate higher. And that does cause a ripple, but we need more of those ripples.
I shared this in one episode, and I'll just end it with this. Talking about vibing high. I might have talked about this in a podcast, so I'll just keep it short. But I was at a festival, and I was at my booth selling my jewelry and everything, and someone tipped me $20 because we were having such a great connection.
Aww.
And I was so taken back by someone tipping me. Actually, I think it was $40. It was a good amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to put this in my pocket. I'm going to go give it to another artist.
Aww.
So I went across the field and found a glass artist and bought a pipe that was beautifully done. And I gave him $40 extra. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. And I am not kidding. Within 2 hours, someone came in my booth, bought something, tipped me $20.
See?
So it came back to me in the same day. And we were all in, there's about maybe a 2,000 population at this festival, 2,000 people. It was a world music festival, all about healing, wellness, all that. So you had all these high vibrational people.
That's awesome.
Like we had healers, Reiki, massage therapists. All these people were coming together to celebrate music and art, and we were all just throwing money at each other.
Yeah, that's so
And
awesome.
I'm like, I felt real. I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. I just felt very real. And I'm like, I'm so,
Yeah.
it gave me faith in humanity. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we could take this home with us? If we can
Yeah.
all leave this festival and bring that energy into our own community.
So start throwing people $20.
Make it rain, people. Make it rain. Money is, we all need it, but it's also something made up, and
Yep.
it doesn't have to be money. It can be a service. Like I'm trying to pay you right now, Lori, to do something for me for marketing, and you're like, no, I'm not going to.
Wow.
But there's other ways we can, you know what I mean?
You can massage my knot out of my shoulder.
You can totally do that. You're more than happy to. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. If you have a skill or a service that you for those in your community you're willing to donate. That's another.
Even your time, go donate at a homeless shelter or a dog rescue or soup kitchen. I mean, there's so many places and things and stuff you can do. Buy someone behind you a coffee. It can be simple things. Hold the door open and don't expect anything in return. Just say good morning.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day. Don't get mad at the person in front of you because when the light changed, they didn't gun it immediately.
Get called out again.
All right.
Go sage myself.
Yeah, go sage yourself so you can vibe high, Kate. All right, that's about it. We're coming to the end of our show once again. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have ways that you cleanse your home or that you vibrate high, feel free to comment and share your experiences with us, and maybe you'll inspire someone else. So until next time, remember, live, love, and magic. Take care, everyone.